Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Let's say this time it's season 2 because it's semester 2 of 2025. Super excited to have you guys here today. We do have some special guests, so I'm going to have them introduce themselves and you'll be able to see what we're going to talk about today. So whoever would like to go first, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
My name is Jasmine. I'm a fifth year I'm a fifth year, so I'm in the Fast Track program. I'm my last semester of my MS Finance and FinTech program, and I'm also a graduate assistant in Employee Relations at Career Services, and I did my undergrad here. Love being involved on campus, and I'm a Globe Fellow, so very excited to talk about the Vietnam trip and Globe today.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm Sophia. I'm an international management major. I'm minoring in French and economics. Along with these two podcasties, what do you call people who host a podcast?
Podcasters.
Podcasters. I'm an ambassador. I'm also a career peer and a peer leader. And then I have some orgs on campus, which are pretty cool. So yeah, I'm also a Globe Fellow, and I'm super excited to talk about Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon.
Yes, awesome. Yeah. I'm also part of Globe. I was a Globe manager. I don't remember the exact semester.
It was you were my year.
What was our semester?
Spring 2024.
Spring 2024, and I was part of the marketing team, so I handled all marketing and media and stuff of that sort. So, we're just going to get started with some questions. What is Globe for people that don't know, and why did you guys join Globe specifically?
So Globe is basically short for Global Loan Opportunity for Budding Entrepreneurs. So what that means is our program has a fund, and that fund is allocated in terms of loans to people in developing countries. So as we learned, and we'll get into it later, those loans are used for many different purposes. Sometimes in the initial application they say one thing, but they actually use it for another thing. It's all circumstantial based, and we try to keep the interest rates really, really low so that it's affordable, and they're very small, so they're micro loans. So
yes, and then also most countries that we loan from that we receive loans from are developing countries. So I actually forgot to mention in my introduction, I was fall 2023 Globe manager, and I was in the finance and risk assessment team. And some loans that you typically receive are from Vietnam, Guatemala, the Philippines, and we had the opportunity to go to do one of the Globe fellowship trips, which got paused because of the pandemic, and the next fellowship trip after the pandemic ended up being this January of 2025 in Vietnam. And that's one of probably the biggest country that we receive loans from. So it was very exciting to go see what we experiencing in a classroom in person.
Yeah, and I think one of the other fellows, she mentioned, she's the GA of the Globe program, she said that Vietnam had 17 loan applications their last semester, and so we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of loans that have come from Vietnam. To my knowledge, they're mainly in the north. We stayed mainly in the south, but we were still able to meet 20 borrowers more, so it was very exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it was eye-opening for sure.
100%.
Yeah, that leads into the next question. We wanted to know how did you guys feel meeting the borrowers in real life? How did it feel to go on the plane and just experience all of that? I'd love to know it all.
I'm jealous. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
So the plane, honestly,
How long was the plane ride?
It was 24. Well, it was 17 hours to Taipei. Then we had a 3-hour layover in Taipei, and then it was 3 hours to Vietnam.
Wow.
And I needed to be sedated.
Do you sleep? Do you sleep at all?
I took 4 melatonin, and I was at first I was let me stay up the first 8 hours, get on their schedule. No, I was I can't do this. I'm suffering.
I slept. I didn't take anything.
Yeah.
But I had my headphones. I need my headphones and my neck pillow, and I'm fine. And I have warm socks on, and I was also lucky because Ariana and I were in the same row, and we had the middle seat free, so we were able to pull up our legs a little bit.
I did not have that luxury. I was in the middle, so it was the plane was humongous. It was 3 rows, I think 3, 4, and then 3, and I was in that middle row on the side, on the aisle, and there was people next to me.
Yeah.
person like in front of me like leaned their chair all the way back, and I was like,
It's bad.
it was okay though. Like it went fast.
Yeah.
In hindsight, but
fast.
like.
Watch a lot of movies.
No, I was sedated the whole time.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
was
melatonin.
sleeping. I was
Okay.
those melatonin. But on the end of the flight, there was this guy watching with Speak No Evil with
Yeah.
Yeah.
James McAvoy,
Yeah.
and I was like so invested. Like I was like watching his screen like towards the end, and I had to watch it. It was very good. Anyways, the flight was crazy. It was very long.
Did it, like, feel surreal, like, once you guys got there, like, touched down and, like, just saw the city in
100%,
general?
yeah. When we landed and we walked out of the airport, there was a group of the daughters of
with the
daughters of
flowers,
Vietnam.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
They were welcoming us with a sign saying "Welcome Globe to Vietnam." They also had flower bouquets for all the girls on
So
the trip.
sweet.
Wow.
And then they had 2 flower
Necklaces for the
Like the
boys.
lays? Like the
Yeah,
lays?
the lays.
Yes, and they were so happy and excited to see us.
That's awesome.
And they were like taking pictures, and even though not everyone spoke English, you know what
Yeah.
we're feeling, and we were like just sharing this happiness. So it was I was like, it's like overwhelmed with so much joy and happiness,
Yeah.
and my heart was just like warmed up just seeing these
Yeah.
people.
Was there any like culture shock when you guys like out there? Like I mean I've never been to that part of the world, so I can only
Probably have
imagine.
the craziest culture.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know
are we
if I
gonna
should
tell
talk
that
about-
story?
Maybe at the end I can. Mention
Yeah,
it.
okay.
So stay until the end.
tuned.
Okay.
And if you want to know the lore, you have to listen to the whole
Okay.
podcast.
All right.
But we had definitely some culture shock. But maybe we can go back to the actual question.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
Sorry for
No,
sharing away.
you're totally fine.
That was good. Wait, what was the question
about
again?
The borrowers.
Yeah, like, how
Oh,
did
the
it feel to
borrowers.
meet them? Like,
Yeah.
It was
just like...
So for me, the most, like, I guess, impactful one was there was this woman who was living literally on a farm, like, in a shack, like, 2 beds, no mattress, like,
Wow.
everything was, like, on the farm. She was, like, living, like, on this property of, like, this big house.
Yeah.
And she was so generous. Like, she made us sweet potatoes, was giving us oranges, waters. Like, she actually had nothing, and she was giving us so much. And she was just telling her story and how, like, she initially got the loan to just help her move from one location to another because, like, her husband was disabled and, like, they had to, like, relocate where her
Yeah.
brother was living to, like, have work. And she ended up having to use it for insurance because in Vietnam you have to buy your own insurance. Like, the state will not fund your insurance at
wow.
all unless you're an ethnic minority, which we learned, like, through other borrowers. And her and her husband had both gotten hit by motorbikes because
goodness.
the motorbike culture, like, the driving there is insane.
It's
I saw someone,
insane.
I don't know whose Instagram story it was, but it was like, I think it was you and Emily crossing the street.
yeah.
Yes, and I was like, I could never do
It
that.
was overwhelming.
We were like, how to cross the street.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
It was
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
You just have to go.
No, I had so much.
It's
feel
like Crossy Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was real life, like,
Yeah.
crossy
Yeah.
road. It was crazy.
I don't know that. I think that's like an American.
It's like one of those,
Frogger?
like...
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Frogger?
Frogger.
Oh.
It's
I'm
like
an
a video
international
game.
student.
We'll show you later.
We'll show you after. We'll
Okay,
show you
okay,
after the
you'll-
podcast. Fun game. You'll like it.
Okay, back to Vietnam.
So this woman, her and her husband had both injured themselves, and they didn't have the insurance, so they used the loan to buy the insurance. And she has had other loans.
Yeah.
And, like, we just got to talk to her and get to know her and just her story, and it got very emotional because she was like, it helped me so much, and everybody there too, every borrower we met was so humble, and there was not, like, that was the culture shock for me, was the mentality. So people there had so little, but they were so grateful, and they weren't striving for more. Like, I feel like in America especially, there's that mentality, like, more stocks, more this, more
Yeah.
that, so much consumerism, and there we would ask them, what can Globe do to help you more? They're like, no, we're good.
We don't need more.
Yeah, we don't need more. And they're hardworking, like,
Wow.
very humble. Even the woman who was, and I'm not being dramatic, she was actually living in a shack, and, like, if there was, like, a tsunami, something, there was no protection there. Like, it was very destitute, and she was so humble and, like, just generous with us, and I felt so privileged and honestly kind of bad. I didn't want to take any of her food,
Yeah.
but then it's like, oh, am I being rude? Like, I have to take at least one thing,
Yeah.
but just, like, seeing that was very emotional because you don't really know the impact you're making until you're there.
100%. And I also want to agree with that because I had a little culture shock in the middle, and I wasn't able to participate in some things, but I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But the first borrowers that I was able to meet, one of them was a banh mi, truck or banh mi cart business owner, and she, we were actually talking to her about business expansion, and she mentioned that as long as she can cover her basic needs and her family is healthy and they have what they need, they don't want to think about expansion, and they're just happy where they are. And she was so sweet, and her husband was working for her, and the banh mi cart was right in front of office building, so she was getting a lot of business while we were talking to her and asking her questions. And we also, meeting the borrowers, we always got positive feedback about the Globe loan applications. And so, also for context, they talked to the Daughters of Charity about getting the loan, and they also just spoke very highly of them as well. I think one of the last days we were able to meet in one full morning, 11 borrowers.
Wow.
And those are girls who work under the Daughters of Charity as housekeepers. So essentially, the Daughters of Charity, they take care of them and help them financially, and they also give them a little bit of financial literacy knowledge. So these girls are kind of our age, and there were some guys, but mostly girls, between 19 to 28 years old. And I remember talking. I actually met the girl that I was reviewing her loan application. I met her in person. And I remembered her face.
Oh my god!
And I was telling her, I was trying to tell her, I reviewed your application, and they were lined up with all their motorbikes, showing us what
that's
they
that
bought.
one picture you guys had. That's a really
cool
fire
photo.
picture.
Seeing that in person, it really touched me, and I was and they need that to go to their housekeeper jobs, and and also it's important to mention most of these girls they live in the mountains in the village, and we're talking about clean water and sanitation, and they mentioned that they answered, well, yes, we have that, but we have a hole in the ground to go to the toilet. And if you think about that, that's absolutely crazy, especially coming from a Western country like the U.S. and Europe. So but they were so happy.
Yeah.
And they were so blessed that they're talking to us. They were blessed that they have this job. They're blessed that they have the support from the Daughters of Charity. So I just want to go back to what she said about they don't need much to be happy, and 100% it was very also kind of spiritual and very personal experience to me, because then I was wow, I just need to be thankful for what I have every day. I need to count my blessings, because some people don't even have a toilet. So and some people don't even have clean water. We can go and I don't know, brush our teeth without worrying about the water and or getting sick or anything. So it was very, very special to meet the borrowers, and I loved it.
And just for a little context for the listeners, the Daughters of Charity are our partners, so they help finance our program, and we have daughters all over the world. So every single country that we loan to, there's daughters, and those daughters typically come from that country. For example, the daughters we were working with were Vietnamese, obviously, but they have daughters all over. So they're the main bridger between our program and then the people who we lend the money to.
Gotcha.
But meeting the daughters for me was very awesome. There was this one daughter who spoke French, and she didn't speak any English, and a lot of the daughters don't. We had Father Tree, shout out President Society.
Love Father
he
Tree.
was there, and he was king. He was translating every single thing.
Him,
I don't
have
even
been able to do this trip.
6 people are talking to one of us, and he's translating everything.
Always there,
and I was
for every conversation.
That's great.
Oh my god, and his friend. We'll talk about his friend.
We'll have to talk about his friend too.
But anyways, there was this daughter there, and for me, I just like to talk. And the one daughter, she spoke French, and I'm a French minor, and I try to speak languages and stuff. Jasmine can attest. Sometimes I'm not that successful.
She was the most fluent in Vietnamese in the group.
But I was just talking, and it was so nice to have that common thing. And she was, at one point she was talking to Sully, and she's like, we translate this to him, are you going to be a father just like Father Tree? I was
they
loved him.
Everyone loved Sully.
He's this funny guy. But it was just nice to be able to communicate in like a language, and like we were both kind of struggling in the French, so it felt like less intimidating.
Yeah.
But like the daughters were just so hospitable. Like they cooked for us. They like made sure
for us.
they made so much good
That
food.
sounds good.
You
You
guys-
guys are making me hungry right now.
You guys were
I know.
posting. It looked really good.
It was so good.
And I'm
We
a
were
picky
so-
eater, but like
Yeah,
I
she
think I'll
was
dibble on
spoiled.
the
She is
apple.
a picky eater.
Yeah.
But that's honestly really cool. Like, I feel like I could relate to that too because in my freshman year I did the Panama plunge. So,
Wow.
a lot of those emotions you guys feel, I felt that too. Like, I was literally like walking around with tears in my eyes like every time I was there because it was just so like sad, and especially the theme of the plunge that I went on, it was urban poverty. So there was a lot of kids that they would go to school every day and they weren't even wearing shoes. Like they'd be walking barefoot to school, and like they didn't know about recycling, and they would ask me, like they'd see my phone and they're like, oh my god, like you have technology, like they don't even know what that is. And the uniform they would have for school would be so like dirty and war torn and like stuff like that, and they would wear that every single day. Like that was their only uniform that they had. So that was always like really, really sad too seeing, but it was very eye-opening as well too. And then the Daughters of Charity were so nice in Panama as well too. Like we would go to the church every morning, there'd be breakfast for us, there'd be one thing is you will stay fed when you're over there.
Oh my god, the
For
daughters.
Vietnam.
I honestly, at one point, I was like about to puke how much food they were giving. Like,
Yes.
constantly food. All
Sounds
of
like
the
my
time.
trip then. Like, this is awesome.
And no, I eat a lot. Like trust. Like, I'm not picky. Like I will eat anything. Like over there, I was eating like heart and like liver and like minced. Like
She was very brave.
I was very brave.
You were
But-
very brave.
But like at one point they were like, eat more, and I'm like,
You can't say no.
You can't. I can't.
You can't say no.
They're like,
I couldn't
you're
say
full.
no either.
Yeah.
There was like things that I just didn't want to eat, and I'm like, I cannot say no to
can't
this
say
lady.
no.
Like I had to eat it, or like one of the girls that was staying with me, I'd be like, okay, like could you have a little bit of this, and like I'll eat whatever's on your plate, and like we'll just like make it work because it was just so different. Like we'd be eating breakfast for like dinner, and then it'd be like lunch during like the morning time. Like I'd be eating chicken at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not used to that.
Same
So
with-
Yeah, pho for breakfast.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All
meal.
4 meals.
Yeah, I have like
3 meals.
eggs
So
for
I love that.
dinner.
I love pho.
Yeah.
And then
good.
also, since we're talking about food, I think it was the second night. I think
we were going in.
I want to drop it. I got food poisoning.
No.
I don't know if I got it. I think I got it in Taiwan because I was eating an egg sandwich and I ate it the next day again, which is absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
And I think it was a mixture of probably the street food that night because we went to this,
It was a Michelin restaurant.
which.
But did you know
Michelin
the Michelin? It was actually Michelin started off as a tire company, but like that's like a side story.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
it was a Michelin star, and so Father Tree's friend, he's like this mystery man that spawned out
Mr.
of nowhere.
Van Lin. And he was Mr. His last name is Van Lin.
Van Lin.
And he's like, he's Father Street's best friend. And he was there like every night to make sure we have entertainment, to make sure we're fed.
Everything.
And he, like, the first night
He's
he
like your
brought
tour
us.
guide.
Yes,
was.
but he didn't know any English, so it was hilarious because he
Google
was
Translate.
like trying. He was like
Google Translate.
everything Google Translate.
But going back to the food poisoning, I got really bad. And I usually eat a lot too and everything. And I'm not a picky eater. But I had a lot of pain, and I ended up going to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
So I was in the hospital for overnight, and Father Tree and Professor Rizel, as well as Emily, they took such good care of me because it was such a scary
so good.
situation.
Yeah.
And before I went to the hospital, I was just like, Sophia, you have to call Emily.
I was scared for her. I was like, I didn't know what to do.
I was scared out of my mind.
That was me.
But
I got really sick too in Panama.
Yeah.
I had like the worst fever ever, and I had
Oh my God.
chills. It was like 110
I mean,
was that
fever.
food poisoning for you?
No, it was just like the weather. It was very fluctuating, and so like the mornings it would be really cold and like rainy, and then we'd be like working in the farms in the afternoon, and it would be blazing hot where I'd have like sunburn on my face. So it's just like cold to hot, and I felt really, really sick, and I was taking medicine. Luckily, I got better, but there was another girl on the trip. She ended up having to get IVs and like admitted.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. And we had some other people also that got a little sick, but
Yeah.
they were able to manage it. I don't know. I thought I have a big pain tolerance, but it was not the case. But I just wanted to say, his Father's tree friend, Mr. Van Lin,
Yeah.
he would be like at the hospital there just to like make sure I was taken care of
That's
really
so
well.
sweet.
That's
So
good.
I was so lucky happy. Everyone was so kind, and everyone took such great care of us,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I was in that state. And then I would only talk to him through Google Translate, especially the nurses as well. But everyone was very nice. And then I was trying to thank him for always being there. And I put in the translate, and he wrote, "Helping you is happiness."
Oh my God!
That's so sweet.
I was like,
I would have dropped right there.
I just looked out of the window. I was like, what is happening right now? And he was like, if someone is in distress or is in need of help, next time you help them. You help them, and then that's the way you can give back to me. That's what he said, and
It's good karma.
That's so sweet.
yes. So wow, I get goosebumps just thinking about this guy, and hopefully we can see him one day again.
Yeah, he's gonna come to your graduation.
Yes, hopefully he wants to come.
He
to
wants to come to
graduation.
the U.S. and everybody on the trip is graduating but me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like the loser baby of the group. No, I'm just kidding.
You'll have to come to graduation.
Yeah, I have to come to see him because he was so lit. He was the best guy. I remember that first night you were there, Father Tree was there till 4 a.m. He comes, he wakes
he
up.
was there too.
Yeah, and his friend. And then Father Tree wakes up the next morning after he was in the hospital, and he's ready to translate for us.
Wow.
He 6 a.m, ready to go after he was in the hospital.
Wow.
And so he was telling us about that experience, and he was like, yeah, my friend, he was like, she went all right up to the 4th floor, she had her own room.
He made sure that I got helped right away.
Yeah.
And all the other people were like,
I don't know this person.
Yeah.
So I felt
That's
so
amazing.
blessed and I was so thankful that this guy was there to help.
he was so
me.
nice.
And I felt better afterwards and was able to participate in the trip.
Good.
That's good.
He really made that trip fun. He took us on this
Yes.
boat cruise, and there was a 5-course meal. It was fun, but low key I get seasick. But I tried.
It was rough. And sometimes there's also a lot of different smells throughout the street.
Yeah.
And after I got sick,
Just like New York.
I was gonna say just not just
No, it's
like
a different level. It's a different level. If you think there's pollution in New York, if you think there's dirty smells, I don't know. Maybe it's also because I was sick.
yeah.
But if you go there, you come to New York, you think New York is like a nature park.
Awesome.
No,
But Ho Chi
I don't
Minh
know
City is bigger than New York.
Yeah.
It's bigger than
Such
New
a
York.
big city, and I never saw the stars.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Probably
see
more
the stars
densely
either.
populated too.
Yeah, no,
The motorbikes
there's
also.
more people there as well. I think their population is 12 million,
Oh my
and we
God.
have 8.
Around 8
Yeah.
million, yeah.
And it's a smaller vicinity.
Yeah.
So it
Wow,
was.
that's crazy dense. Wow.
You guys need to see the motorbikes there. It's
Wow.
It
will blow you.
Yeah, 6 p.m. rush hour.
And also the
don't
cars,
cross
they just go like this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you I don't know if you guys have any videos of them, but if you have videos, we could
do.
probably put them in the.
Yeah, no,
We'll have it playing right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yes,
lot of
we
videos.
should put that in. That's great.
No, yeah, honestly, this is really great, and it's really great to hear your guys' experience because I think one thing in Globe we try to push is that anybody can join Globe at St. John's. It's for everyone. You don't have to be a business major. I feel like that's the stigmatism we're always trying to break in, that barrier we're trying to push through. So it's really great to show that you can do things outside of the classroom. I feel like that's really specific when it comes to Globe. Globe is not just a class that you sit in and you listen to a lecture for 3 hours long. You're actually working hands-on. You're working with people all across the world, and it really feels like you're making an impact and you're making a difference, especially since we're a Vincentian school. We're following that mission all the time.
Yeah, my roommate's a bio major. She's doing it right now. I convinced her. She's like, oh, I have to take out it's I'll be over 1 credit. I'm like, no, it's worth it.
Yeah.
If you do the GA here,
So worth it.
go
It's
to
worth
go to
it.
Ecuador.
100%.
That's worth
the
it.
next trip is going to Ecuador.
Wow.
And
Maybe
I
that was
I have a
secret.
few friends in the class too. I'm going to tell them.
Yeah,
hey, you guys
apply.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that public information?
I don't. Yeah, I think so.
I think it's
It should be. It
We'll
probably
mute it if we need to.
No, they announced it in the Globe.
Oh,
class
okay.
already.
Oh, so it's not.
Then-
They didn't have to sign it.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm not a globe.
Turn it off. Erase the
I don't
whole
know.
thing.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys do over there.
I think
Well,
it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think Professor Rizel also talked about that in class.
Yeah.
okay, all right. Just I don't want to get you
We
guys in
actually,
trouble.
some of us
I could
we went
still
in
go
class
on it.
and
You
talked
should?
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can still apply because I probably
When are they doing it in the summer?
no. They'll do it in January, but I'll still be here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Junior, you'll be here
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
We should go.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll do
You
it.
really should. And
Yeah.
also they took, I have to say again, they took really good care of us.
Yeah.
And it was a really good experience.
Yeah, everything was good.
And we got like a lot of valuable information about the future of Globe as well. We talked to the head sister. Her name is Sister Pascal.
Yeah.
She's a really like elderly lady, but
she's
she
so smart.
So smart, really good English, and she was telling us about the different needs that she has for Globe, and they need a lot of assistance in also the valleys and the mountainside.
Yeah.
And so we were just talking about the future of Globe, and we got a lot of good information. And also, all of the sisters want English assistance, so they actually inquired if we could potentially, maybe in the future, put up like a program where maybe similar to like Give Campus, where students can volunteer like an hour a week to meet with a sister and speak some English.
That's amazing.
So they're just also so motivated to do this program. And so
They
very
were so
successful
cute.
trip.
They were awesome.
Great.
Well, okay, so we usually do this at the end of every podcast, but it's kind of like a rapid fire question.
Oh.
So I guess our rapid fire question, it's 2 parts. So we'll have you answer the first one first. What was like in one sentence, like your biggest takeaway from the trip? And then why should people join Globe so they could have this opportunity possibly one day?
Only in one sentence?
You could do 2 sentences.
2 sentences. 2 sentences.
Okay.
I have a good one.
Okay, I'll go first. What was the first question again?
So, like, what was, like, your biggest takeaway
takeaway.
the entire experience?
Honestly, I think my biggest takeaway was the power of, like, service and, like, and compassion, and also linguism, linguistics?
Linguistics.
Linguistics.
I think linguistics, linguistics.
No, like, I would try to speak as much Vietnamese as possible.
Yeah.
And, like, even knowing one word, like, toi mon café da, like, I want a iced coffee, they're like, oh my gosh.
Thank
like,
you, I just learned something new.
They're like, wow, like, good job. Or, like, gamma means, like, thank you. They'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then why should people join Globe? It's honestly some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Like, I love my team. Like, Sully, like, he inspired me so much. I wouldn't be an ambassador without him, to be honest. Like,
yeah, shout out Sully.
And, like, Steiner, too. Like, we've been a team.
Group of people.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We had a
so,
really good group.
like, honestly, I think the best thing about Globe is the camaraderie and then the teamwork, but also that, reward you get with service.
I feel that 100%.
My biggest takeaway is that happiness truly lies in service, and also just being grateful for everything you have in your life. And if you feel sad or depressed, just think about what you're grateful for every single day.
Yeah.
And I truly think, and help those in need, because I think that truly is like the key to happiness. I think that's like something really like a personal takeaway I have from this trip and experience, and I'm so grateful that it like showed me that. And also the people, absolutely amazing, big highlight. And what was the
why
part?
should people join Globe, like, to experience this?
People should join Globe because it's the best program on campus.
Yes.
Especially for in-class experience as well as out-of-class experience. And you can apply that in really any field. And from my experience, when I talk in interviews about Globe, everyone is super interested. So you're also building a professional resume for yourself. And you can talk about something that is a mix of professional knowledge in the business field that really applies to any industry, but then also service and maybe creativity as well, depending on what you did in the team. So it really gives you a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I really agree with what you said about, like, happiness is service, and, like, whenever you're feeling, like, depressed or anything, to just think back on those moments of when you were able to be, like, a superhero in somebody's life.
Yes.
And I always do that with, like, my host family that I was living with in Panama. Like, I always think about them and think back to that. And sometimes, they text me from time to time on WhatsApp asking, how am I doing? They miss me. When am I coming back to Panama one day? So it's, like, it's very, like, it's great. I wish that, now thinking back to it, I wish I would have applied for the Panama Plunge that's coming up to go and visit them again, because I feel like I owe that to them. And they ended up, like, finding me on YouTube somehow, and, like, they saw my Panama video.
So
Like, when I saw that, I, like, wanted to cry, because I'm like, oh my god, I was, like, recording in your house, and, like, but it was just so sweet. And it's like a little digital memory that I have forever.
Yeah.
So whenever I feel, like, sad about something, I always go back to that, because I felt just so grateful after. And every time I think about that, I just feel more grateful for what I have in front of me. Yeah.
I absolutely relate.
Yeah. Like, 100%.
Those are the memories that you will never forget.
Yeah. But yeah, we wanted to say thank you guys so much for being on our podcast. This is a sign to join Globe. We'll have the Instagram here on the screen. But thank you guys for being a part of our podcast. It was really great. Like, low-key, probably one of the best podcasts we've had so far.
I don't know.
We know people are going to be tuning in, and we're so excited to see where your journeys both go. And yeah, thanks for being a part of our podcast. First episode of the spring semester. So, yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Having us. We have to take a selfie and then.
Yes.
Thanks
okay, perfect. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for our next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.